Bonsoir les amis, this is Llyane Stanfield, and as always you can find me at parisianfrench.com. Tonight is Q&A Français Sunday, and thank you so much for posting the questions. I have quite a few questions today and answers to your questions. I chose to answer in the video in the Facebook Live only the questions coming from this group, because I think you deserve it. You are working so hard, and what I love the most is that you do follow instructions, and that is amazing, because what happens, most of us adults want to find something that works for us. And children don't do this, right? Children just follow instruction and do whatever you ask them to do, and then as a coach, as a parent, you can guide, depending on the results, you can find different ways that work better for the child, for instance. But for adults, we adults feel that we know what works for us. And even though we don't get results, we keep guessing what is best for ourselves. And what happens is that in order for us to get different results, we have to have different approaches. We have to do something different in order to get different results. And you cannot find, as Einstein said, we cannot find the solution from the inside of the problem. So we cannot see what is a good different approach that would work for us. So when someone comes with a different approach towards us, we start with a reaction, with a resistance, because we've never done that, and it's kind of unsettling and is throwing us off, and we start with a resistance, and that resistance is wasting a lot of our energy, rather than following the instruction, the new approach, and to see where that gets us. And I commend you for following the instructions, because I am coaching French in a different way than other people, and that is for a good reason, because I would like to expose you to different methods, to different approaches, to discover how that can work for you. So rather than thinking from the beginning, this doesn't work for me, just ask the question, how can this work for you, for me? I'm speaking for you, and of course for myself as well, because I also have my own coaches who help me get outside of my own ways, so that I get new results that I've never had before. And another thing too is that I am working on guessing based, I'm writing down, I'm keeping a record of everything that you guys are giving me, so that I have a profile for each and every one of you, so that I can be a coach for you, even though at a distance like this, so that I can give you my instructions, my advice, my recommendation based on what your patterns are, each and every person, one at a time. So thank you so much for being so brave and for looking for different results, for actual results in French. So at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about a brand new program that I told you a little bit about, and actually the registrations end on the 29th. And all the questions that I received so far are actually discussed and covered in that program. And working with me one-on-one, you will actually find your own way in mastering these particular areas of the French language, rather than trying on your own, because you're still on your own, right? I'm coaching you, I'm guiding you based on what your feedback is, but I'm not actually hearing you speak, right? So I don't know exactly what your results are. So Ruchi, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. You are saying, I would like to ask, what is the difference between qu'est-ce que and quoi? Where should we use qu'est-ce que and where should we use quoi? And this is a really good question, and my answer is for everybody. First of all, Ruchi, you misspelled qu'est-ce que. Que est que. All right. So everybody's missing the se, the ce, and I'm going to write in the comments. I'm going to write the correct spelling for qu'est-ce que and what you actually missed there. But I'm going to give the answer with another option. So you gave me qu'est-ce que and quoi, and I'm also going to add que. So qu'est-ce que and quoi are interchangeable, and but the sentence needs to be a little different when we use each of these expressions. So I'm going to give you a few examples with that. So with qu'est-ce qu'ils viennent faire ici? Qu'est-ce qu'ils viennent faire ici? And I'm going to write everything in the description of the video right after we're done. So, qu'est-ce qu'ils viennent faire ici? What are they coming to do here? Now, the form with quoi would be the question to be correctly created. That's why I'm saying in all my videos as much as I can, the most important thing to learn in French is pronunciation, which you can't guess. I mean, yeah, you can, sure, but it's just taking a lifetime. I know from my own experience with English. So it takes way too long if you don't know the pronunciation rules of pronunciation. And if you know the rules of pronunciation, which you can learn with my program in 2 hours, then you're good for life. And phrase construction. Phrase construction is more delicate, and that takes much longer to master. But these are the things that you should focus on, and vocabulary and the actual rules of grammar, which are like carved in stone, and you can get them from any book, right? Those are things that you can do on your own and always enrich your speech, your conversation. So we had qu'est-ce qu'ils viennent faire ici? So that's the form with qu'est-ce que. Now the same question, but using quoi, is gonna be ils viennent faire quoi ici? Ils viennent faire quoi ici? And I have a third option, que, and the form of the same question, it means the same thing, only formulated to accommodate the word que, is que vient-il faire ici? Que vient-il faire ici? So this is for all levels, trying to cover from beginners to advanced, so this is an answer for everybody. Another question, example with the 3 forms. Qu'est-ce que tu dois dire? Qu'est-ce que tu dois dire? What do you have to say? The form with quoi is tu dois dire quoi? Tu dois dire quoi? And the form with que is going to be que dois-tu dire? Que dois-tu dire? And my third example, with qu'est-ce que? Qu'est-ce qu'ils nous donnent? Qu'est-ce qu'ils nous donnent? What are they giving us? The form with quoi? Same thing, same question. Ils nous donnent quoi? Ils nous donnent quoi? And the form with que, same question again. Que nous donne-t-il? Que nous donne-t-il? So, Ruchi, I hope that I have answered your question. Please follow up with a question, follow-up question. Catherine Marie, bon dimanche, ma belle. She's asking, I wonder what's the difference between pendant que and alors que? Do they have the same meaning? Are they interchangeable? Same thing I'm going to do here too. I'm going to give a third option. I like to give more. So, yes, so, qu'est-ce que, quoi, que, all this is covered in the program that is on sale another 3 days until the 29th, and that is l'immersion culturelle française, and I'm going to talk about this at the end in more detail. So if you want to master all this, you better get that program because it's not going to be on sale after the 29th. So I'm going to give you these examples. I'm going to add in tandis que. So pendant que and tandis que are interchangeable because they indicate they indicate simultaneous actions. Alors que can indicate simultaneous actions as well as consequence. Actually, no, a cause. So alors que also can indicate simultaneous actions, meaning, to your question, pendant que and alors que, yes, they are interchangeable when they indicate simultaneous actions. Now we also can use tandis que in that particular context. And alors que, however, also can indicate the cause. And I'm going to give you a few examples. I think I only have one. Let me just see what I came up with here. Yeah. Okay. So the context is most important here in order for you to see which one indicates what. So, just for alors que, I'm going to give you just for alors que an example with simultaneous actions and an example as a cause. So, simultaneous actions. Ici on gelote alors que là-bas on étouffe. Ici on gelote, here we're freezing, alors que là-bas, while down there or there, we on étouffe, we can't breathe. And now an example with alors que as a cause. Alors que le niveau des mers monte, le changement climatique est devenu une question de survie. One second, let me just make sure that. Yeah. Yes, that's the example. So, alors que, as, so it's not going to be while. Yes, it is while, but it is the cause. So, because the level of the waters increases, the climate change became a question of survival, right? So, alors que, probably in English would be translated probably also as, right? As the level of the waters increases, the climate change became a question of survival. So I'm going to repeat the French again. Alors que le niveau des mers monte, le changement climatique est devenu une question de survie. So it is very important, again, the context, and we're going back to phrase construction, which is so important to master, and that can be done only with a lot of practice, guided practice. This too is covered in l'immersion culturelle française, the program that is on sale until the 29th. EU Novita. How do I learn the difference between male and female words? So start from the thinking that in French the words are formed in two words. I mean, each word actually contains two words. One is the actual word, let's say for instance livre, and the other little word is the gender, which can be an article. It can be le, la, or un, une. So I chose livre because le livre means the book and la livre means the pound. Now, I do know that all schools out there came up with a lot of rules where and when and what kind of words ending in what are typically feminine, typically masculine. So this typically or generally is what I don't agree with. Meaning, I'm not saying that they're not right. They are typically or generally feminine or masculine. I do not agree with this method of learning based on sub-rules that are not even 100% true across the language. And just having so many rules for genders, the only thing that succeeds to do is to make you think. Is this that rule? Is this rule number 3? Is this rule number 4? Is this whatever rule? And instead of actually having you speak and getting on with your speech, you have to think all these rules, and thinking means not speaking. So when we have to think a lot, we are speaking less and less, and this is your situation. Everybody in this group has the problem, and that is because I wrote, I keep track, I keep all the records of what you introduce yourself with. And everybody says, I am good at this, I'm good at that, I just am lacking, I don't have someone to speak with, I'm lacking conversation. So the conversation is the problem number 1. And the conversation is what I specialize in. Pronunciation inside of the conversation. That is what I am specialized in. So if you want to use better the genders in conversation, and not in writing, because in writing you have tons of time to research, I guess. But in order for you to really use the language, genders should be memorized. So in English, and everybody here is fluent in English, that's why this is a prerequisite for being in this group. So in English, we learn the pronunciation of each word, one word at a time. We have to hear that pronunciation in order to say a word in English. Now in French, we have rules of pronunciation, which I must say probably most of you don't really know all the rules of pronunciation. I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying most. And that's what keeps you guessing. Because once you know the rules of pronunciation, you can read or you can pronounce, you can say words that you don't even know what they mean, right? So that's the advantage. You go to the restaurant and you can actually read the menu without even knowing what the words mean, but you can say them, you can pronounce the names of the streets and so on, knowing the rules of pronunciation. And so in English, we have to learn one word at a time as pronunciation. In French, we need to learn one word at a time for genders. So, and it's very important. And the way to do it now, what is the method of actually learning? And this actually, the genders, I have a module that is dedicated to one of the things that it is dedicated to is pronunciation. I have that one for pronunciation. In fact, the Immersion culturelle française, the program that is on sale until the 29th, contains the pronunciation master course that I'm talking about. It's included as a free bonus, as well as teaching how to learn the genders. So, if you, from the beginning, shift your perspective and consider that genders, the gender is a part of the French word, so the French words are coming with word and gender, so it's going to be livre and the gender la. If it's la livre, is the pound. If it's le livre, is the book. So that's how. And so how do we memorize them? Because pretty much that's the question. So as you memorize all your vocabulary, I always recommend to write down your words. So draw a vertical line on your piece of paper. It has to be a notebook for vocabulary. And write le livre, or You can use un and une for, because this way you cover also the words that start with a vowel. So let's just say un livre equals a book. Une livre equals a pound. Now in English you have a or the. So that may feel redundant, but do know that your brain, our brain, works with patterns. So the moment we see two words on one end and two words on the other side, then it's gonna map the words with meanings. And so that's the way to learn the best. The problem with most Anglophones, so that the mistake that most Anglophones make is they learn livre is book. And then gender becomes something additional. But if you put un livre is a book and une livre is a pound, then our brain maps those words one with the other, and it's so much easier to learn any new word. So what I do recommend is that it may be, if you have quite a large vocabulary right now, just look for the words that you're not sure of the gender, and always go down, write them down on a piece, in your notebook, in a vocabulary book, to reinforce the gender of that word. Don't start running words to memorize them, please. I hate that. It's dry, it's boring, it's just not productive, not for an adult. I don't know for children either how productive that is, but it's not productive for adults. What I do recommend and always do is whenever, however, you become aware that you're not sure of the gender, then do write it down. So write down un livre is a book, une livre, a pound, whatever word is that you are not sure of the gender. So these, all these questions, all these techniques are covered in the program that is called l'immersion culturelle française. And the reason it's called this way is because it has a ton of cultural etiquette and a lot of trivia and traditions that are incorporated in this program, a ton of them, as well as the language. So you get to have the pronunciation rules down, and that is just a matter of 2 hours with me. And it also includes 8 one-on-one Skype classes with me, as well as a super thorough assessment. What I was talking about in the beginning of this video, that it's hard for me to learn you at a distance, and just depending on your feedback, I'm trying to find what are your patterns, what exactly you're missing most, you know. And so then I'm noticing some people, be careful with genders, or be careful with endings, or apostrophes, or depending, each of you are different, or each of you is different. So I am learning each and every one of you, but at a distance is so much less productive. And you can ask the other clients that I have who are in this group, very active by the way, and they'll tell you how much different is when I'm able to hear you and to correct your pronunciation and to give you the pronunciation rules that will help you throughout your life, because you'll never ever make any pronunciation or spelling mistake ever again. So this super thorough assessment is also included in this program. So I'm going to put the link in the comments of this video, and please ask me questions about it. It's a ton of fun. I love this so much. Also, I have about the French cuisine, French movies with French subtitles. It's oh yeah, let me tell you, the conversation topics are French cuisine and French etiquette, where to sleep and to shop in Paris, touristic itinerary, secret Paris gems, French culture, music, movies. I told you movies with French subtitles, and the French and French art of flirting and romance. You have cheat sheets for conversation, pronunciation masterclass, and all the verbs conjugated on video by me. So you will have everything you need with this little program. It's not little, but is light and fun, and I adore it. So I'm looking forward to your questions, and please send me follow-up questions to this, and I'm looking forward to having more fun this week. Merci beaucoup et à demain. Au revoir.